Mr. President, we thank the Secretary-General for supplying the Assembly with the informative reports on strengthening of the coordination of humanitarian and disaster relief assistance of the United Nations, including special economic assistance. The Cabinet of the Federal Government of Somalia has, on the 23rd of November 2021, declared a state of emergency in the country due to the devastating drought, as echoed by the President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed Farmajo during his televised debate. The drought emergency affects more than 4,279,000 people in Somalia, accounting for nearly 36% of the population, in 66 of the 74 districts, and nearly 208,664 people have been displaced as a result of the drought emergency, with figures rapidly increasing across the nation amidst another below-average rainfall forecasted in early 2022. The drought emergency continues to expose vulnerabilities to hazardous risks that have led to the loss of human life and livestock, further insecurity, severe health impacts, and the compounding of existing risk factors such as COVID-19. Furthermore, by the end of the year, 1.2 million children under the age of 5 are expected to be acutely malnourished, with over 200,000 of them severely malnourished. Mr. President, the National Drought Committee has been heavily engaged in strengthening the coordination and collaboration of a joint response to the drought emergency between the Somali government and key stakeholders, including humanitarian partners and the Somali private sector, to increase the harmonization of effective response efforts. Despite financial constraints, the Somali government has managed to pledge $1 million. Government ministers have agreed to deliver 20% of their monthly salaries until further notice. Mr. President, we commend the Assembly for its efforts on current and previous resolutions relating to the strengthening of the United Nations coordination of humanitarian and disaster relief aid, including special economic assistance and development. Somalia's private sector has pledged $2 million. The Somali diaspora continues to be actively engaged in fundraising efforts, and there is also ongoing communication with traditional and non-traditional donors. In this regard, we are happy to announce that with the support of the government of Sweden, SIDA, and the World Bank, Somalia's National Emergency Operations Center is in the process of being officially operationalized and will be the national coordinating hub of all emergency and disaster response and preparedness. Our activities are critical to the realization of the principles enshrined in the UN Charter to properly manage recurring humanitarian emergencies. The General Assembly must continue to support the development of sustainable institutions that create and implement effective policies according to international established standards. Mr. President, when discussing humanitarian crisis, the youth are most at risk, with an amalgamation of issues ranging from lack of nutrition leading to premature deaths to prolonged absence from education, stemming from the ramification of these crises. Additionally, as stated in the Secretary General's report, flooding in Somalia affected nearly 1.6 million, killing 35 and displacing 900,000 last year. Cyclone Gaiti is estimated to be the strongest storm on record in Somalia, affecting over 120,000 people, displaced 42,000, and created conducive conditions for further desert locust breeding. This triple threat of cocktail calamities serves as a stark reminder that climate change adversely affects countries in different ways and has complex and interlinked implications, exacerbating existing vulnerabilities. Mr. President, Somalia acknowledges the UN system and humanitarian organizations for their efforts in coordinating and providing humanitarian assistance, as well as rapidly responding to COVID-19. Somalia pays tribute to the humanitarian and medical personnel for their dedication on the front lines. Somalia firmly supports the United Nations in coordinating international humanitarian assistance and the global cooperation to combat COVID-19. In concluding, Mr. President, whilst no country is immune to natural disasters, no country is destined to suffer them alone. I thank you very much, Mr. President.
Muchas gracias al distinguido representante de Somalia.